For the last couple of decades, flying here in Europe has changed for better or worse, mainly down to the rise of low-cost airlines such as EasyJet and Ryanair. And to protect themselves against this low-cost revolution, established national carriers have had to adapt, and once proudly independent airlines are now part of larger groups. So for this week's video, I decided to do something a little bit different. I'll be looking at three groups, Lufthansa Group, IAG and Air France KLM groups, to see which of the three does it best here in Europe and can compete the strongest against their low-cost opposition. Welcome to Blake Edgington Airborne. Let's get going. So how's this going to work? Well, if I included all of the airlines from each of the groups, this video would be incredibly long. So what I intend to do is choose one from each. From Lufthansa Group, I'm of course going to choose Lufthansa themselves. From the IAG Group, it's my national airline British Airways, and from Air France KLM Group, it's Air France. Mainly because if I chose KLM, this video would be incredibly biased as I have a bit of a soft spot for the national airline of the Netherlands. I'll award points from 3 to 1 in each of a number of categories, and hopefully at the end of this video we'll have a clear winner. Do bear in mind some of these categories are based on my personal experiences, and your experiences may differ, so I look forward to reading your feedback in the comment section. Of course, if you haven't already, do make sure to subscribe for future aviation related content as well. But without further delay, let's get to the first category. We'll kick things off by looking at the size of each airline, focusing on the fleet and route network. In alphabetical order, we'll start with Air France, who operate a fleet of 221 passenger aircraft, with the Airbus A320 family taking care of things in Europe. The majority of Air France's long-haul routes are flown by Boeing's 777, but the airline also operates the 787 Dreamliner, as well as the Airbus A350 and A380. Most importantly though is that Air France offer a choice of around 201 destinations, with the majority of their flights departing from the airline's Paris hub. From London, British Airways offer less choice than Air France, but still boast a great network of more than 180 destinations served. BA do, however, offer high frequency on some of its more popular routes, such as New York, and they operate a fleet of 277 aircraft. In Europe, you can expect to fly on an Airbus A320 family jet, much like Air France, and the airline's long-haul fleet includes the Boeing 747, 777 and 787 Dreamliner, as well as the Airbus A350 and A380. And finally Lufthansa, who have a huge fleet of 300 passenger aircraft currently offering customers a choice of 220 destinations around the world. Again, as with the other airlines in this comparison, you can expect a single-aisle A320 family jet in Europe, and their long-haul aircraft include the A330, A340, A350 and A380 aircraft from Airbus, and Lufthansa also fly the Boeing 747 on certain routes. So it's time to award the first points of this comparison based on route network, and in third place is British Airways, who offer the lowest number of destinations for passengers despite the second largest fleet here. Of course, the airline's frequency of flights is a great benefit. Second place goes to Air France, for offering more choice than BA despite the smallest fleet here, which means that Lufthansa take the maximum 3 points in this category. As we're looking at European airlines, for the price comparison example, we'll use a flight within Europe from each of the carrier's main hubs to Madrid in Spain, and the comparison's based on a one-way ticket departing on Friday the 6th of December. Air France start this category off with a fare of £58 for the 2 hours 5-minute journey, and they offer 5 direct flights to the Spanish capital from Paris. This is based on a light fare with hand luggage only, and you will be charged an additional £8.90 to choose a seat before check-in opens. An economy basic fare of British Airways starts at £54. As with Air France, this fare does not include checked luggage, and the fee for seat selection will start at £10 for a seat at the rear of the aircraft. And finally, the cheapest flight of Lufthansa will cost around £52 on an economy light ticket from Frankfurt. The German carrier does charge for seat selection, with prices starting from just under £11 if you decide to choose your seat before check-in. So a very close category between all three airlines, but finishing in third with 1 point is Air France, who had the highest fare on this example route. In second comes British Airways, scoring 2 points, and leading the way is Lufthansa, who just about offer the cheapest price for what is the longest flight of all three airlines. As we've discovered, like their low-cost competitors, the best fares for each of these airlines are based on hand luggage only. But which offers the largest allowance if you decide to upgrade to a ticket that includes a checked bag? And what's the difference in price? Well, with Air France it will cost an additional £23 for a standard ticket. This includes up to 12 kilograms of cabin baggage and one checked-in item weighing up to 23 kilograms. To upgrade from Basic to Economy Plus with BA will cost £24, offering one checked item, again up to 23 kilograms. However, you can actually take a staggering 23 kilograms as cabin baggage on board, providing it can fit into an overhead locker. This means your total allowance is 46 kilograms. And that's a figure that even Lufthansa can't come close to. Their allowance after upgrading your ticket is 31 kilograms in total, which includes a 23 kilogram check bag and 8 kilograms in the cabin. So to the scores, and after starting strongly in the first two categories, Lufthansa come third for luggage allowance, losing out to Air France due to the lower cabin baggage allowed. Speaking of Air France, 2 points goes to the French airline for their very reasonable 35 kilogram luggage allowance, which means that unsurprisingly British Airways take the top spot, and 3 points thanks to their very generous cabin baggage allowance. One thing that has changed when flying in Europe due to the low-cost airline growth is cabin service, and in particular the food and drink offerings on board. What can you expect when flying with one of the three airlines in this comparison? Well, Air France offer complimentary refreshments to all passengers on board their European flights. Alcohol and soft drinks are available, and you receive a snack such as a croissant or sandwich depending on what time of day you fly. British Airways have gone more towards the low-cost model for onboard refreshments. There are no complimentary drinks or snacks offered on their European flights in economy. Instead, you are able to purchase items from the onboard menu, with their food items provided in partnership with British brand M&S. Thankfully, Lufthansa have not started charging for their onboard food and drink, and much like Air France, economy passengers will receive a choice of drink as well as a snack when flying economy class in Europe. So no surprises for which airline comes bottom of this category. British Airways, despite being a national carrier, are the only airline in this comparison who've switched to a low-cost model and a buy-on-board menu in Europe. 1 point for BA. For Air France and Lufthansa, it's very hard to split the two, as both offer complimentary refreshments, which is very welcome in economy class. The refreshments offered in my experience are broadly similar, so both airlines receive the maximum 3 points. And now we come to the most subjective of all the categories. Based on my experiences, which of the three airlines offers the most comfortable experience on a European flight in economy class? Again, we'll begin with Air France, which for me has its good and bad points. On the flights that I've experienced, I've found the cabins can be a little bit dark and don't feel the most modern against the competition. I've also had issues with legroom, particularly on my most recent flight, which was pretty tight to say the least. I do however like the fact that USB power is available, and having an adjustable headrest is a big plus for someone 6 foot tall. British Airways are hit or miss for me. I'm quite fond of their Pinnacle design seats found on some of their older aircraft, but weirdly BA has chosen to have two types of seat on their newer A320 aircraft, and if like me you find yourself sitting at the rear, then the seat is slimline and a very cramped Recaro design, which I'm sad to say provided one of the most uncomfortable flights that I've experienced this year. Interestingly, EasyJet also use the same type of seat, but they offer more legroom. And finally Lufthansa. I personally find their cabins to be quite smartly designed. Like BA, Lufthansa use Recaro seats on much of their European fleet, although it is a different design to the British carrier, which is a big plus. The Lufthansa seats are comfortable, and I've been pleasantly surprised by the space that I've enjoyed on board. Incidentally, Lufthansa are launching a new seat by Gevin on their new aircraft, which I do hope to try at some point soon. So to the points, and sadly I have to place British Airways bottom of the comfort category, mainly based on my experience of their latest seats fitted to the A320neo, which were unattractive and uncomfortable. 1 point for BA. In second comes Air France, who don't offer spectacular legroom, but the seat itself has some nice touches, meaning that the winner of the comfort category for flying within Europe is Lufthansa, who score another 3 points. And that's the last category out the way, so if you've been keeping score you'll probably know the result by now, but just in case, here is the final tally. In third place with 8 points is my national airline British Airways. Second place goes to Air France with a score of 10, and the winners are Lufthansa, who picked up 13 points by coming top in 4 out of 5 categories. So there you have it, Lufthansa there are the clear winners. As I said at the start of this video, all three have had to adapt their business models in certain areas to face the threat posed by low-cost competition. And I think all three do so in different ways, each successful in certain areas. One thing is certain, I certainly cannot wait to try all of them again in future. I hope you've enjoyed this video today, and do let me know in the comment section below whether you agree or disagree with the result. Let me know what your favourite airline is. And of course, if you haven't already and like to see future flight reviews and comparison videos like this one, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And as always, take care.